All right. It looks like the participants' numbers are rising.
That's
I'm
right.
going to give it maybe just about 30 more seconds. Get everybody else to finish up their lunches and wipe their mouths. Maybe drink a little bit,
Yeah.
and then we'll get this thing started.
Yes.
Well, that's moving pretty quick, Peggy. We are at 61. I probably shouldn't look at that. Okay.
Yeah. Don't look at it.
Hi, Gene. Gene Mann with the Education Committee. Guys, if you happen to see Gene or anybody else in the Education Committee, please make sure to give them a big hug. Actually, even Peggy for putting all this wealth of knowledge together. The fact that she was able to get people like Nicole and Liz and even Chris Felix to share their knowledge and for free, no charge to you. It's a big feat. Personally speaking, I would have paid at least $100 for each of those classes. Okay, it looks like we're at about 77. Do you think I should just get started or give it a few more minutes, Peggy?
Maybe another minute.
Okay, let's do it. So, I think what I'll do is, while we're waiting, I'll give a brief introduction into who I am. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Shawn Blas. I'm a broker owner of Remax Pacific Alliance Realty. I've been in real estate now for, I want to say about a month or two. No, I'm just kidding. That's for close to about 15 years actually. And I'm still learning, still very new. The only reason why I'm even teaching this is because I know a little bit about mapping, just very little. It looks like we're at about 83 and it hasn't really gone up too much. I'm just going to go and get this thing started, Peggy. That's cool.
You can, but if I could just do a quick announcement, folks, in terms of yesterday we had winners for gift certificate, and that's courtesy of our platinum sponsor for the year, Security Title and ANZ Guam. So we are giving away gift certificates for Shawn's class, as well as for the remainder of the classes for this week. So gift certificates will be raffled at the end of each class. You must be present to win, of course, meaning present in the virtual class rather. And I'll leave it for Shawn to play whatever questions he'd like to do at the end. And you're entitled to have 2 winners, Shawn, at your class. So I'll turn it over to you.
Sweet. So, guys, if you come over to my office, which is where I'm at right now, slip me $200. I'll make sure that you win. All right, let's go and get this thing started. We have about 90 participants. Thank you very much for humbling me with your presence. Let me go and start sharing my screen. All right, so again, my name is Shawn Blas, and we're going to be going through mapping. A lot of us know mapping in its very brief and simple sense, basically vicinity maps. Mapping is a little bit more complicated than just vicinity maps, and we'll get to that in just a second. So today my goal is to try to have you guys see MLS mapping in a whole different light. I want you to see that there's a little bit more to it, a couple of different aspects. Before we get started, I'd like to start with a quick quiz. Now, this quiz isn't part of what Peggy was talking about, where you get the where you get a prize at the end. This one is just really more for knowledge purposes. Now, it's a really quick quiz. It probably won't take you guys more than like a minute or two to do. Super easy. You don't need any studying. Don't worry, you're not going to fail. One of the things I want to point out is I only have Facebook, so that's the only platform I'll post your answers to if you're right or wrong. So you won't see it on like Snapchat, Twitter, or that other app, the one where people dance on it. To take the quiz, you can either type this into your browser, which will take you forever to do because it's a really long URL. The other thing you can do is if you're not using your cell phone, you can actually use that link there. And if you just buy me one quick second, let me figure out how to use this thing. Okay, if I go to questions and answers. Give me one quick second. Hey, Peggy, if you can come back just for a second.
Got it. I wasn't able to download it.
Oh, you were
using my
okay.
phone.
How can I put it so that everybody can see the, you know, I want to be able to type the thing in and then have people be able to click on it for those that are watching from their phones. Is
I
it on
see.
questions and answers?
Let me go ahead and put that on the chat, folks. Just give me a few seconds, okay? I will put it on the chat, and that way you can cut and paste it in your browser.
Oh, actually, hold on. I just think I figured it out. Sorry, guys, just a quick second and we'll. Actually, Peggy, go ahead. If you're going to be a lot faster at typing than I am.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Okay.
Okay, once Peggy gets this up here, I'll give it like a good minute and then we'll get this party started. All right, Peggy, were you able to get it up? Doesn't look like it. Sorry, guys, just buy me.
Let's try it.
There we go.
It's in the chat.
So when you guys click on the link, oh.
Oh, there's an error. There's an error. Sorry.
Why is it doing that? Give me one quick second. Sorry, guys, just let me work out the kinks here for 1 second.
There's a typo.
Let's try this one.
Okay,
If this
good.
doesn't work, we'll move on and go straight into it. There you go. This one works. So just click on that link there, and you guys will be off to go. I just tested it. Hopefully it works. Peggy, are you able to click on it?
Yep, it's good to go.
All right. Dom, I see you put down you can't get in. And Jean, can you guys get in now?
The second link is good. The first link had a typo.
Yeah.
Or you can use your phone for the QR code.
All right. So while you guys are doing that, again, want to thank the Education Committee for putting all of this together and for all the presenters for sharing their wealth of knowledge. The one from this morning I thought was really good. It was a nice refresher course for the GRPR app. Something that I think all of us should definitely take advantage of using. Part of the Education Committee members, while you guys are taking the course, and again, you might want to, you see any of these guys, don't give them like a real hug, because of social distancing, maybe give them like the elbow bump or something. There's Lolita Hammett from Remax, Bobby Sanchez, Claire Delgado, President Claire Delgado, Jean Mann, Maria Miller, Tanya Charfers, Kimberly Atta, Denise, Francis Guerrero, and of course, Peggy. This, this would be like if we were live, this would be a part where I say, okay, everybody give them a round of applause, but we can't really hear anything. So, okay, hopefully my mic stays good. Let me know if you guys have any problems. All right, let's go ahead and move on. The last section of our Realtor Pledge says to seek better to represent my clients by building my knowledge and competence. It's one of the reasons why we're here to build our knowledge and competence and how to service our customers and clients better. In order for us to service them better, we have to make sure that we are able to show them everything that we can and be able to have our listings findable is a better for lack of a better word. If your listing, if somebody can't find your listing, chances are they're going to pass on it and move on to another listing. And even though you do get your listing rented out, was it really the best offer you could have gotten? Is another thing you want to ask yourself. Whether a map is good or bad, as they say with appraisals, it's one man's opinion. Now, when we look at maps, and mind you, I took these from MLS, so if it's yours, I'm sorry. I'm not saying if they're good or bad yet. But again, it's just my opinion. Not everybody would agree if it's good or bad. But these are the maps that we usually see. We see the Google Maps, we see hand-drawn maps, and we see Paint and PowerPoint drawn maps too. Now, we can actually divide these maps up pretty easily between what we think are good and bad, just based on what we can actually find, right? I'll do that real quick. Unfortunately, I can't see a raise of hands, so I can't tell if I can't tell if everybody can see it, but nevertheless, or if everybody agrees or not. But hold on, let me change my cursor here real quick. So even though you have a hand-drawn map, as you can see, this map clearly shows landmarks, which means you'd be able to find the place pretty easily. Even if you were to get lost, you know that the listing is behind duty-free shoppers. This map here, I think, is perfect. It shows you exactly where the water is. And this one here shows you a crap ton of landmarks on there too. Then you go to these guys here, and I mean, unless if you're familiar with Paradise Estates, you really wouldn't know where this was at. You would almost think that this was a format of a brain or something. And then, yeah, and then you have the rest of the map there. We'll get to the rest in a little bit. One second, let me switch back here. Okay, so this is fishy, right? Now, I can set out the information I should show some of the stuff on there, so it's not really in these lists you guys can see. But this is something wrong with this is our roadmap to success, so to speak. It's the features that we use to find listings, find the location of the listing. The first one that we use is the map. So the next thing that we're going to do is this is about 4, and really expensive. That's also part of the job. then, you know, MLS energy on your lap while you're riding around. So it's next to impossible to figure out where is that. So the next thing that we do to allow is the listing photo, right? Now, the photo says a lot. You can see this photo to Canada, this is on the floor auto. You can tell this is the blue. And, you know, the next one is that we get into the floor auto, right? You're one second is more than the two ones there. But how do you work for this? So, you know, most of us are not sure what this is. Actually, we're basic for it. Actually, this is standard. This is something that we see every day. So that's on maps what we see is with Google Maps or satellite. This again is something that you guys see often. Right now, there's a lot of us that are using this these days. I personally don't. And sometimes it's really hard to determine exactly where the listing is. So sometimes you just go that narrow and have you just got to back up the arrows and you still have so much to your opponent. Like that's a really strong arrow there. Same thing, you still can't find it, right? So the most recognizable part of this thing, which is live camera listing. And for those of you guys that are familiar with really tell this is crazy. Let's do one more if you guys don't mind. So let's say that we're to one. This is actually Bobby's listing, but right now that Bobby does his maps super good and his geo mapping is on point to actually see these trees attention. So we're to one to celebrate, right? I need to second one is some less app to get to the location. Geo mapping usually show you. Which is where in the beginning part of that's where it would take you to. Nowadays, it takes you straight to your office. But, you know, so take a shift on there, take you somewhere else, you know, for agents that are newer, that don't know any better, don't know what quality it is, you're going to get led to somebody's office or to the probably going over the light cover options. Rather than taking you to celebrate. Again, this is a waste of time. I mean, I'm led to one direction. One second. Hey, Peggy.
I'm here.
My sound is it really coming in
Somehow
now?
right now you're good. Earlier wasn't. So I'm not too sure if it was the mic.
Okay.
Right now you're good.
Okay, maybe if you stay on, keep your mic on. Maybe that might help me out. And then just let me know if it's coming in and out again.
Will do.
All right, thanks a lot, Peggy. Okay, for those of you guys that lost me for a little bit, I'm really sorry. I'm not sure why my connection is poor. Okay, so anyways, again, this is geo mapping. So the three things that we went through for those of you guys that couldn't really hear me. The first one was vicinity map. The second one was or vicinity map drawn by maps. Second one was a vicinity map created by Google Earth Image, and the third one is by using the Flex MLS app, right? So there's actually more than one way for us to find. Okay, hold on. Peggy's recommending I go back a few slides, but Peggy, you can still hear me, okay though?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's just do this real quick. I'll make this part real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so starting over real quick, this is the MLS data sheet. I drew a very bad map going to Flora Pago. And the purpose of it, again, was just to show that when you draw maps like this, it's almost impossible to find the location. The next thing that we rely on is the photos, right? Now, with the listing photo, you can definitely tell the location most of the time. In this case here, you can tell it's Flora Pago. Now, if it wasn't in Flora Pago and it was just a regular house, um, you'd be able to tell if you're at the right location by seeing that there's a coconut tree in the background or a puga tree in the front. The next one is the next MLS data sheet that we're used to seeing is with the use of a Google Earth image, right, or a Google Maps image. Now, as you can see, even with this, it's hard to tell exactly where you're at. If you're the listing agent, it would be very easy to determine where you're at, and you'd be like, everybody should understand this, but it really is not the case. So, you add an arrow in hopes that maybe somebody will find it, and it really doesn't work. So again, the next thing that we rely on is the photo. I'm going to tie all this in together in just a minute, and hopefully you guys don't lose too much of my audio. So again, let's say you're in Tumon and you want to find a listing, or you want to find Tela Verde. So use the Flex MLS app to try to find the listing. Now back in the day, the Flex or geo mapping would automatically start you off in Jotnia or Palantet somewhere. Nowadays, it actually starts you off at your office, if I'm not mistaken. So some people that don't know how to geo map actually click on this is my location, or this is the location, right? When you're setting up the app, or when you're creating your listing. It's the point I'm trying to make is that you don't want to do that, and you want to geo map it correct, because if you don't, the listing agent's going to drive around in circles, or the showing agent's going to drive around in circles, and eventually maybe not even want to show your unit because it gets embarrassing after you've driven around 3 times telling them that they moved the house somehow. I've actually tried that a few times just as a joke. It usually works. So if you guys want to use that, I won't charge you for it. So there's actually more than one way for us to find a listing. The first way is the vicinity map. Now, as you can see with this one here, this is a map to Leo Palace. And you can clearly see that Sunshine Plaza is right over here, and then you take a long windy road going in. This is the start of Leo Palace Resort. Then you have the office here. I mean, everything is very clear as to where it's at. The second thing that we use to rely on to find the place again is the listing photo. If you show the right location, it makes it super easy for people to be able to, or for agents to be able to find the listing easily. And the last one is by geo mapping it correctly. So again, the point I'm trying to make here is that there are actually 3 different ways for us to sorry, Vanji, you can't hear me, it's choppy. Okay, I'll try to talk slower. Okay, so geomapping is another way again for us to be able to map out places. So really quickly, I want to show you guys one of the ways that we can find a way to geomap correctly. I'm going to stop sharing this screen here, and I'm going to move on to my second here. Where are we at? So this this was something that was taught earlier today. Now you guys can see, Peggy, can you see the GRPR or the
Yes.
realtor website? Okay, good. So I know you guys went through this already this morning. I'm just going to make it really, it says my screen sharing's paused. Is it still sharing it, Peggy?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so again, the only thing you need to do is type in your credentials and put in the math question, the answer to the math question, and put in login to the member dashboard. And with a little bit of luck, it will open up. I'm not going to get too much into anything with the app. You just kind of click on the Access Guam Realtor Property Research button here. It'll take you straight into it. And just give me a few more seconds for this thing to finish loading. So Frank and Ryan today were talking about the great uses of the GRPR app, and they covered everything. I really don't need to cover too much. I'll just make this section really quick. As soon as this thing finishes loading, I will click on it and get straight into it. So again, you click on map, it'll take you straight to the app. One of the first things that I like to use, one of the first things I like to do when I get into the app is I like to unclick, and Ryan actually said it, said that he does this himself too, is unclick on some of the layers that you aren't going to be using. So just give it a second, the thing's still kind of loading. So I personally I just unclick on the Guam Municipality button, and I click on the Here Satellite button. And what that does is it actually just makes it so that it's a satellite view that you're getting into, or that you're able to see. Now, one of the things I want to point out, and I think they did talk about it today, is this button right here is like it's a find my location button. This works pretty good when you're using it works a lot better when you're using your phone. When you're using your laptop, Ryan tried using it earlier, and as you saw it, it took his office it showed his office as being in the ocean. So here, hold on. I want to go back to my PowerPoint presentation so I can show you guys what it looks like on the phone. Give me a second here. Okay, so this is basically what it'll look like on your phone. As you can see, you got the battery life up there and everything, but this is essentially what it looks like. So when you click on this button right here, which is the current location button, it'll have the app zoom into where you're at. So when you're at your listing, you click on this button, and it'll take you straight to where your location is. The next thing you want to do as soon as you get to the location is you want to click on this button right here, which is the bookmarks button, to save your current location. And this is going to help you with geomapping, and I'll tie it all in together in just a minute. So when you click on that button, it'll take you to this screen here. You just type in Uncle Chut's house, or Auntie Mary's ranch, whatever the case is. Just so you remember who they are. This is just for you. You're the only person that's going to see this. It's not the names that you put in here for your bookmarks isn't going to be shared with anybody else in GAR. So in this case here, I just put down example, and then I push save. So now going back to sorry, I know I'm kind of going back and forth with screen sharing, but let me go back to the actual app so I can show you guys what it looks like here. So going back on the app, so this is the actual app on your desktop. So you finished, you took your pictures, you got back to the office, and now you're ready to now you're ready to geomap it or to find the listing, draw the map, whatever the case is. How do you find it, right? So you click on the bookmarks button. You find the name that you put down on there, whether it's Auntie Mary's house or whatever the case is. In this case here, I put down example. So you'll see it right there on number 4. So when you click on the magnifying glass, and again, I know that they showed this earlier. I'm just kind of doing a very quick overview on it. So it takes you straight to the listing, which is right there. I'm not going to show you the different features of what the GRPR app does. I think that they did a very good job earlier today. So this is where it's at. Now, if you zoom out, you'll be able to kind of find the different landmarks that are in the area, which is going to help you with your mapping when you're ready to draw your maps for people to make it people to find it easily. This is clearly Paris Acres. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but this is McDonald's on the top left here. Under that is Mobile, and then right under that is Payless, right? So I mean, those are pretty good landmarks. And as you can see, the GRPR app does have street names too. So Chalon Laguna, and then you have going into Paris Acres, your first left is Baki Court, North Koopa Court, South Koopa Court. So it gives you all of the street names, which will make it easier again for everybody to find your listing. Now, going back to the PowerPoint, again, just a brief recap is you log into the GRPR app. Ryan said it already. Or Frank, I think, said, you type in where you're looking for in case if you didn't map it on the location with your phone, you can always find it here. Just type in the address. Works pretty good. And then of course the overlay button is another thing that I personally like to use. Again, I personally take off the municipality button and I click on the Here Satellite button, and that'll show you the satellite view. The next thing that you'll want to do is you want to click on the bookmarks button. And I know we just went through this. I'm just kind of showing it to you in case if I went too fast on the live screen there. And then you click on the bookmark that you loaded it to. In this case here is example, and it'll take you straight to where you're at. Once you zoom out, I pointed it out earlier. You just want to start marking down, whether it's in your head or on the map itself, what's around the area, right? What'll make it easier to make it so that everybody will find my listing. In this case here, again, we have McDonald's, Mobile, Payless. You want to start writing down the street names. You have Route 15 or Back Road. You have the street names here. And then, Paris Acres is right there. You want to put in the street names on there as well. Now, another way to do this, another way to find your listings. Now, a lot of us use Google Maps, right, to find locations. One of the things not a lot of us know is that Flex MLS actually has its own version of like Google Maps, and I'll show you how to get into that in just 1 second. Okay, so from my screen here, I'm going to switch from the GRPR tab straight to the Flex MLS tab. From up here, if you just type in Flex MLS maps, and I'm not sure how many of you guys know this. If you do, I'm sorry, I'm just going to go through it real quick. Click on Flex MLS maps, and it will take you to the view of Guam in just a second. There you go. Now, again, one thing I like to do personally is I like to see things from the satellite view just because it makes it a lot easier for me to see exactly where I'm at. The only thing with Flex MLS that you cannot do is you can't pre-geo map that I know of, at least. And I think Anthony Godwin would probably be the best person to help me answer whether or not there is a way to do it. But I tried for the past week and I couldn't figure out a way to pre-geo map a place. You know, where you go to a location and you're like, okay, this is where I want to map. Let me mark it. In this case here, it's, sorry, one second. There we are. There. In this case here, this is where we're at. And as you can see, the Flex MLS map shows us exactly the same thing. This is Perry's Acres. It has all of the street names. It has all of the landmarks that we can see there. And you know, it definitely helps us out exactly the same way. So even if you cannot get into the GRPR app for whatever reason, maybe the math question's a little hard or something like that. But if you can't get into it, if you go onto Flex MLS and type in Flex MLS Maps, it'll actually show you where it's at. I want to show you guys a really cool feature on this too. So again, you're on Flex MLS Maps. There's a button here. A really cool button that has an eye on it. The eye, for some reason, stands for Nosy Neighbor. So when you click on Nosy Neighbor and you click on any part of the map, it'll actually bring up previous listings from that area. So as you can see in where I just clicked on, North Koopa, Perry's Acres, Unit 17 was listed. Now, why is this important? It's important because you want to know how other people maybe drew their maps, and you don't want to copy their maps, but you can definitely use it as a reference point. So in this case here, I'm going to go and open this up. I clicked on the link, and okay, so that's the map there, but that's not what I was hoping for. Let's click on a different one and see if. And there, okay, so Thomas Zhang, this guy actually, he draws pretty good maps, as you can see here. So North Marine Corps Drive, this is Perry's Acres, and it shows you the different streets. Now, some of the things that you can see that's missing from here, I mean, no offense to Mr. Zhang, he's perfect in everything he does. I personally would have put down maybe that there was a mobile here, either drew a traffic light, and then I would have maybe marked an X where the listing was. But you know, I mean, to each his own. In this case here, I'm hoping to help everybody kind of not make the same, or not follow the same way. But anyways, again, that's what you do. So you're on Flex MLS. You click on Flex MLS Maps. Cool feature again is just the Nosy Neighbor app, which is the I button right here. So you click on that. You hover over anywhere, and I mean, I'm talking anywhere. You can click on it, and you'll see listings that were within the vicinity that was there. So in this case here, it's Chalangi Holum, and it shows you, that it shows you the previous listings and even how much they closed for or how much it's active for. Okay, so let's stop the screen share there, and let me go back to my PowerPoint. Just to kind of recap again, Flex MLS app, you click on Flex MLS Maps, click on satellite to show you the satellite view. Again, that's the Nosy Neighbor app, which will show you the different places in there. And you want to look at somebody else's map to see how they drew it. Maybe you can figure out landmarks around the area without having to do your research. It's taking a quick cheat sheet. Again, don't copy anybody's map or don't steal their map without asking. But you can definitely just copy it. It's really not too hard to draw a map, and I'll show you guys a quick way on how to do that in a little bit. Okay, so when you click on that, then the next thing you want to do, just like I showed you with the GRPR app, is you want to start marking all of the areas or landmarks and street names and everything else like that around the area. Putting it all together, the first slide that you see there is the GRPR app. Second one is the Flex MLS app or map. And then the last one that you see here, this screen right here shows you a listing screen, right? So after you put in the address, it's gonna take you to a satellite view of Guam, and you just kind of click on the location of where your listing's at. This is geomapping. This is the part that makes it. This is why it's important. Is if you don't click on the right location, you're going to be leading everybody around in circles, and they're not going to be able to find your listing. So again, the purpose of me showing you how to do things on GRPR and on Flex MLS is so that you can run out of excuses on why you shouldn't or why you can't geomap correctly on Flex MLS, right? All right, moving on. One other thing I want to show you guys, and this is in regards to geomapping, right? So one of the purposes of geomapping is so that when you use the Flex MLS app on your phone, it'll give you directions, driving directions on how to get to places. I know some of us are like, oh yeah, Guam's small, I don't use it. I personally like to use it because I don't like getting lost, or having to look at the map and follow directions. I want to show you guys something really quickly, and I know this is not a Flex MLS tutorial, but I just want to show you guys a full feature here. I'm just going to go on the quick sheet quick search real quick. I'm going to click on 5 different listings. I want to show you guys how we can actually use the Flex MLS app in a great way. So you have, let's say you click on, you're going to show 6 listings today, right? So you click on 6 listings, pray to God that every single one of them is geo-mapped correctly because you're going to use the app today. After you click on the 6 listings, when you click on select it, and for those of you that don't know how to do this, if you actually click on the listing, you can actually sort it. This is the part where, man, if we were in a live class, I'd love to hear how many people are like, oh my God, I didn't believe you could do that. But anyways, yeah, so you can rearrange these things or these listings as you see fit. So you do them in such a way where you do it in order. So, sometimes it can be a little tedious to have to look at the vicinity map, right, to figure out which one you should go to first. So if you actually click on map, and again, click on satellite. 1 second. Don't fail me now. And it's not working. Okay, anyways, when it was working, if I clicked on map here, it would actually take me to the, why isn't this working? Sorry guys, it was working earlier. Okay, anyways, if you were to click on map, and if this was working, it would actually show you the image of Guam, and you can actually see how you would route things better. Right now, it's not working for me. I'm not 100% certain why. Let me just try one more thing. Just bear with me. We have a little bit of time anyway, so I'm just going to go on the hot sheet. 27 listings. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm clicking on the 5. I'm going to click on selected. The listings I selected, I want to rearrange them, so I drag it around. I'm going to click on map. Hopefully it takes me to the image. Bingo. Perfect. Okay. So these are all the listings I wanna show, right? And maybe I'm gonna start off in Tumon, but I wanna work my way down south. So if I click on this button right here, the first house, it'll actually show me, it'll highlight the button that we picked, right? So now I'm gonna put that at the top. I'm gonna click on the second one here, which is right there. So I'm gonna make that second. And sorry, I'm not gonna go to all five. I'll just do this next one. And bingo. So now I put everything in order. Now, the benefit of this is so that I'm not going to be driving around in circles, or I'm not going to be playing a guessing game on which listing comes next. So how do you save this to get to your Flex MLS app? For those of you guys that know this, please bear with me. But you just kind of click on save selected as. I'm going to type in hot sheet. Actually, hold on, because I put in something else before. Perry's Acres. Let's just pretend I put Perry's Acres here. And then you push save, and it'll now it should show up on your Flex MLS app on your phone, right? Now I'm going to stop screen sharing here real quick so I can go back to the PowerPoint, because again I can't show you what I'm seeing on what I would see on my phone. So I pre-took some photos. Find me one quick second. There we go. So again, a brief recap. You can shift the listings around after you, but you have to click on selected, which is to the right of results. So after you finish clicking on the listings you're going to show, you click on selected, and you can shift things around as you see fit. You type in what you want to save it as. In this case here, in this example, I put it down as Perry's Acres. You open up your phone, the app on the Flex MLS app on your phone. You click on listing collections, which is right here, and then click on the name that you saved it as, which in this case here was Perry's Acres. It'll bring everything up, and the best part is that everything's already in order. So now you're ready to go out there and actually do your showing. So when you click on the listing, when you click on the listing here, this will show up here. And to get to the step, the step-by-step driving directions, you just click on driving directions, and it'll guide you to your destination. Again, assuming that it was geo-mapped correctly. So you just simply click on go, and you're on your way. So so far we've covered why geo-mapping is very important. That's one of the ways that we actually can map a place for our fellow members to find the location. The next thing that we can do for each other is to take better photos or good photos. Now, I showed you some photos earlier. I wanna just go through a quick few. So these photos here are very clear on where they're at, especially for more seasoned agents. Agana Bay Condo, Holiday Towers, Flora Pago, Tossie 17, Oka Towers, right? Now, for those of us that aren't familiar with these places, again, hopefully the vicinity map or the geo mapping is correct so that they can find it. But nevertheless, once they pull up to the building, there's no reason why they shouldn't know where it's at. Now, those are condos. Now, when you're at houses, when you take a good outside photo, you can help out by taking a good photo from it from a good standpoint here, right? So they pull up to the house, they know that the wall on the gate has tiles on it. There's a coconut tree on the background. It's got gray trim. This one here, it's still under construction, but the carport or the garages are to the left. In this case here, there's a chain link fence in the front, and it's SpongeBob yellow with a pink house in the back. In this case here, that's the house is salmon pink with a couple of bushes up in the front and a huge mango tree, so you can tell your customers to make friends with the neighbor. that one is actually my listing. The mangoes were freaking huge. Okay. Other photos that the listing agents take are inside photos. And you know, I mean, it's very clear why. You know, like some of us think that the kitchen is very beautiful. It's good to, you know, you want it to be the very first photo that people see when they're looking at your listing. But unfortunately, when you're looking at a Flex MLS data sheet and you see a kitchen, you're gonna have to go into the house to find out whether or not you're at the right listing, especially if your vicinity map or geo map isn't correct. So you definitely want to make sure that that the that your first photo is very clear on where it's at. So you know, another popular place to put as a front photo is the living room, and maybe even the front entrance, right? So it doesn't matter how nice it is, how nice the inside of the house is. Leave that as the second photo, but have the first photo be the outside. Okay, so now we've actually covered two different ways of where are we at? There we are. Okay, so we've covered two different ways of of mapping, right? The first one is the geo mapping, and the second one are photos. Both very important, as important as the other. Let me open up my second PowerPoint real quick, and we'll get straight to it. Buy me a second. So, okay, Dom, I see that you put, so Dominique said that she used Google Maps since it matches with MLS. Yeah, in this case here, I mean, Google Maps isn't necessarily bad as long as you put in the names correctly, or you mark everything down so everybody can find it, right? And Dominique is with Century 21 is really good at using Google Maps as a vicinity map. She's a pro at it. I personally can't do it, so I actually use Paint 3D or even PowerPoint to draw my maps. But let me go ahead and start screen sharing real quick. Hold on, I need to find the share button again. Sorry, guys. Where is it at? Oh, there. Sorry, I moved my screen around too much there. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys real quick from PowerPoint presentation. I'm not actually going to go through it step by step on the system because that'll take too long. I'm going to show you guys how to actually draw a vicinity map, right? Which is the third step in properly mapping. Whether it's vicinity map or Google Earth or not vicinity map. I'm sorry. Whether it's a hand drawn map, computer drawn map, or if you just copy it from Google Earth or Flex MLS and put it on there. Just make sure that it's put together very well. So this is with Google or this is with Microsoft Paint 3D. Most of us have this. The symbol looks like this. It kind of looks like a really cool candy. Yeah, really cool candy. Jawbreaker maybe. So from here, you want to basically click on New, and this will actually open up a fresh canvas for you to start drawing your maps. Now, the next step you want to do is click on 2D shapes, and you want to click on that line button, and then you just start drawing your lines. Draw it out to the way that you see it on the GRPR app or on the on the Flex MLS app, right? or even just, I mean, I personally used to, like, sitting at the listing, I would actually kind of sketch what's around the area and draw all the street names and everything. But now with the GRPR app, I mean, it'll make you super lazy because you can, yeah, because you have all of the street names on there. So the next thing you want to do is start adding in all the curves, right? And you do that by clicking on either one of these curve buttons, and you just kind of just start drawing them in. Doesn't matter how perfect it is, as long as people can find the place, right? And then you go back to the line button and finish up all the straight lines as you see fit to make it make sense. Next thing you want to do is go to the text tool over here, and you want to start typing in all the street names. So you kind of put in the street names and all the landmarks, right? So in this case here, we have Marine Drive, Chanlalahuna, Baki Court, North Koopa, South Koopa, Goring Villa, McDonald's, Mobile, Payless, which is a little hidden there. And you definitely want to mark where the location is. This part's very important because you can draw a map as good as you want. I mean, it can be best map in the world, worth $1 million, whatever. But if nobody can find it, you know, they're not going to go to your listing, or at least it'll be harder to go to your listing. So in order to make this box here, you simply just click on 2D shapes. Click on a box. You can even make it a circle. It really doesn't matter. Just and then make a shape. Put an X in the middle, or whatever you want, a check mark, just to make it so that it's very clear on where it's at. Another thing you can do is you can click on 3D library there, type in arrow on the search button, click on whatever arrow you want. I personally like using the slim arrow. And then just place it where you want it to be. And the whole point of the arrow is you have to remember that when we're looking at the Flex MLS data sheets, it's really, really tiny. So, I mean, sometimes even when you do mark an X, it's not clearly legible where it's at. But if you put an arrow, it just makes it so much easier. Next is you want to click on the 2D shapes button, and you want to start putting the boxes around each of the landmarks that you have there. In this case here, I put it around McDonald's, Mobile, Payless, and Goring Villa. And then you can type in any additional text that you want. In this case here, I put down "Buy me, please," but you know, maybe you want to put in like the address, you know, so that when they're driving in, it's very so you know they know that the listing's on South Koopa, but you know, instead of looking at the MLS data sheet to figure out the unit number, maybe you just put the unit number there, and it'll make it super easy for the showing agent to find it. Click on the text link, and you might want to put down either the village or maybe the subdivision on where it's at. In this case here, I put down Jigo, so it's very clear what village it's in, and then also the subdivision name or the complex name, right? So in Paris Acres. So what I've done here is I've actually put in traffic light. Now, how I got this traffic light, I'll show you in just a second. But just before I get to that, I'll quickly show you how to import it, and then I'll show you how to get it. I'll work backwards here. So when you click on stickers, you click on the open folder button here, and then you click on add sticker. You can actually add the sticker that you want. The sticker is basically just a photo, a JPEG, PNG, whatever you want to put in there. So if you have one that's kind of preloaded, and you have it on your desktop already, you can actually put it in there. In this case here, let's just for funsies, let's go look at how to actually find a free traffic light on here. So just buy me one more second. Sorry, I have like 1,000,001 tabs open, so there we go. Traffic light. So I'm going to go to traffic light, which is right. Okay, so you guys should see my traffic light thing here. I just use Google. It really doesn't matter what you use. I personally use Google because it's a lot easier and faster for me to use. If you just type in free traffic light PNG, it'll actually take you to a few different options on what you can pick for, as free, uh, free options, right? So you click on when you click on it there, all you really have to do is just kind of hover over it, right click, push save image as, and then just save it as a JPEG. You can type it in for whatever, as whatever you want it to be. So again, going back to the PowerPoint now. Okay, going back to the PowerPoint. So I've shown you how to pull it up. I showed you how to put it in there. Let's go say you're a little bit more old school and you want to actually draw it yourself. If you click on 2D shapes, click on the circle, you actually just create the circles, put them in, draw a box around it, put some colors in there, and bam, you got yourself a nice, beautiful traffic light there. So just to kind of go through that really slowly, you click on the circles, you draw the circles, you click on the box, you put the box around it, and then you want to go to the paintbrush button, and then you put your colors in, whatever colors you want. In this case here, it's the right colors because it's red, yellow, green. And then the next step is you want to drag the traffic light and put it where it belongs. In this case here, it's right around this area here between McDonald's and Mobile. So that was with Paint 3D. The next one is with PowerPoint. I'm not going to lie. I personally am a bigger fan of using Paint 3D. My assistant is a bigger fan of using PowerPoint for creating maps. So I just had her create one for me, like a quick PowerPoint presentation, just so we all know how to do it. So again, you just click on New, and you start with a blank presentation. Click on the Insert tab there, which is right there. You're going to click on Shapes. Select the different lines and draw the roads, right? So when you click on that, then this will pop up over here, and you just click on whatever line you want to use. In this case here, this line right about here is better to use when you're drawing your roads. And so you kind of draw out your roads there as you see fit. One of the things I want to point out with PowerPoint is that it actually is a lot easier because you can adjust the lines as you go along. With Paint, once you draw your line and you go on to your next line, you're screwed. You got to redo it. There isn't like a back button, or you can't re-click on it to readjust anything. You'd have to select it and copy and paste. It's just a much more complicated way to do it. So PowerPoint is probably the better way to go. So anyway, so now that you've drawn your maps, as you can see, the lines are really, really thin, right? This is like the map that I drew that was really poor, where you couldn't see anything. So if you want to make the lines a lot thicker, you're going to want to go to the Drawing Tools tab, which is right over there. Select Shape Outline, which is right there. Next is from the drop-down, you can choose colors, and if you want to, you can even select the weight. So in this case here, if you want to keep it as blue or black, whatever the case is, and then select the weight to make it a lot more of a darker line, right? You can make it as dark as you want. Just make sure that you'd be able to see the lines clearly from a data sheet perspective. And then you have it like that. Within the Insert tab, you can add shapes for the subject property and the lines. With the shape, you can put in like on this section here, you can also put text boxes, you know, so that you can start putting in street names and landmarks and everything else like that. Also, within the insert tab, you can add icons or 3D models. So in this case here, she added the arrow. And then you just place it on the, you know, you place it on the map, and then you're good to go. And on top of the arrow, it also has pre-made traffic lights for you to use. So you can use that as well. You can easily make any adjustments before finalizing your map. When it's complete, you can save it and convert it to a picture. And then on top of that, if you're not happy with it, you can always go back to it and readjust it. So let's go say later on, you're like, oh my gosh, Shawn, I don't know, they moved Gorin Villa to this side over here. So you can actually just drag everything and bring it over here almost too easily. To save it, you click on the File tab. This is for those of you that don't know how to save your files. Click on the File tab. And then select Save As, which is right there. Select the folder that you want to save it in. I personally like to just stick to desktop because it's a lot, it'll make it a lot easier to find, unless if you have a file set up for Uncle Tsu's house. I actually don't have an Uncle, so I don't know why I keep saying that. In this case here, you definitely want to save it as a JPEG file. It makes it a lot. I think it's the only file really besides PNG that Flex MLS accepts. And then click on Save, and you are pretty much done. So again, just to kind of recap, and I know I didn't cover the, you know, I didn't take up as much time as I thought I would. And as a brief recap, sorry, let me get back to my screen here so I know where I'm looking. There are three different ways that we find listings. The first one is with the vicinity map. I mean, not in any particular order, but the vicinity map, the photo, and the geomapping. All three of them are just as important as the other, but that's three different ways that we can use to find listings rather easily. If your vicinity map really sucks, you can use the photo to find the place, especially if it's recognizable. And then if you're out on the road and you want to save on paper, definitely use the Flex MLS app. That's what it's there for. But in order for us to help each other out, we definitely have to geomap things correctly to make sure that the Flex MLS app will be worth our time using. Now, again, for geomapping, for those of you guys that don't know how to geomap, it's really simple. All you have to do is, and I showed you on there, is you just drag the cursor to the location on where your listing's at on Guam. And if you're having a hard time finding the house or your listing on Flex MLS, if you go to the GRPR app and you actually type in the address or even the legal description, it'll pinpoint it exactly to where it's at. On top of that, when you're actually at the listing and you're taking your photo, which you have to do anyway, so you're at the listing, you as long as you have your phone on you, you go on the app, you click on the current location button, and it'll pinpoint exactly where it's at, and you save it on your bookmarks, and you can find it easily. If any of you guys have any kind of if any of you guys have any questions on how to use any of these features, I'll be more than happy to help you out. I personally would recommend having maybe President Claire Delgado help you first. Her home number is 47. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out in any way. And even if you want me to kind of cover the different aspects of the presentation I did today, I'll have everything ready on a PowerPoint presentation for you guys to kind of see things. And in case if you prefer to use vicinity maps drawn on the computer, more than maybe Google, not Google Earth, but Google Maps. And if that is the way that you guys prefer to use, uh, Dominique Felix actually has a presentation set already on how to kind of map things that way. Um, you know, there isn't a right or wrong way to do it. Uh, you know, MLS accepts it either way. But again, just remember that our realtor pledge does say it does state, or we make a pledge that we will do everything we can to, you know, to for our customers and clients, right? And one of the best things that we can do for them is, one, make sure that we find them every possible best place we can, and we can't do that if we can't find the place. And the other way to do it is to make sure that our listings are able to be found. If you're not able to find your listing, if we're not able to find the listing, we'll probably pass it up. And just looking at the answers from the quiz, um, it looks like most of us would actually pass on the listing rather than waiting around for the listing agent to answer their phone. And sometimes even when the listing agent does answer the phone, it's like, well, it's mapped already, come on. Or, you know, maybe their directions are still not helping out as much. I'm going to go ahead and click on the questions and answers, or the questions, and see if you guys have any questions here. Dominic said that Tech Talk teaches how to create maps in just a few minutes. Yep, very, very true. Again, her maps are the Google Maps. I'll put this. I'm not sure if your map, if the Tech Talks is on the GAR website. Is it Dominique? I don't know if you're still on. You can answer that for me. Next is I'll get back to that answer in case if she answers it in a second. Okay, so Jean Mad said her girls taught her how to use icons and landmarks. That's actually very good. So, you know, I mean, if you use icons as landmarks, it actually helps with your vicinity maps. So over in Jotnia, I love it whenever I get a listing over in Jotnia, because I got to use the Carabao, right? And you just kind of type in Jotnia Carabao, and a couple of different variations of it pops up. You know, and then of course you have the Micronesia Mall in case if you have something near, you know, up in Dedido, you can use that. Hospital. Actually, I probably wouldn't use the hospital as one. Let me see if there's any other questions. Some agents still have their listings posted near the Apsino Gardens. Can you try to have the system default to check the location again to confirm? So yeah, well, I think what Melanie Valero is saying is that the default location now is near Apsino Gardens. Mine, for some reason, starts off at my old office over at Happy Landing Road. I've heard some others say that it starts off at their office. I'm guessing, you know, maybe for the ones that haven't mapped it, that it starts off at Apsino Gardens. So again, if you're adding a new listing and you just click that this is, you know, that's your location, then you're going to lead everybody to Apsino Gardens, which is not always the right place unless if you do intend on sending people there. Okay, let's go see here. Okay, that's a good point, Peggy. I'll do that in a second. So some agents have their, this is from Peter Walls. Does the phone app have the nosy neighbor button or only desktop? That's a really good question. I don't think it has, I don't think it has the nosy neighbor button that I've seen, because we have a little bit of time. I'm just going to check real quick and see if I can even find the Flex MLS app. Let's go see here. Flex MLS map. Yeah, see from the phone. From the phone, when I type in Flex MLS map, it doesn't even show up. So I don't think that the nosy neighbor function is on there. Let me just type in nosy neighbor, which I thought was a pretty cool name, by the way, nosy neighbor. I probably wouldn't have come up with something so cool. I would have been like, what's around the area or something. Pretty lame answer. um, but yeah, but the nosy neighbor button is a really cool feature on the desktop. I use it all the time. And, you know, it also shows you kind of what's around the area, what's sold around the area too. Also, some vicinity maps are so tiny you can't see the location. That's exactly my point. So when you're doing your maps, you want to make sure to not make it so tiny, right? You want to make sure that you make the lines a lot darker. You want to make sure that the words are bigger than 12. I personally like to use between 18 to 24. Just make it so that it's definitely legible, but make sure your lines are darker. Make sure you put an X or an arrow. Maybe put down the unit number. And yeah, and I think that's, let me see here. What's the best vicinity map size resolution? So, you know, I've actually tried to look this up on Flex MLS as far as what the best vicinity map resolution is, and I haven't been able to find any. Personally speaking, whenever I open up Google, or not Google, but Paint 3D, I have it open up to whatever the default size is, because Flex MLS ends up resizing it. When you try to upload it as a PDF, that's when it either doesn't save properly or it's oversized. But yeah, so I haven't been able to find a vicinity map resolution. But what I will do for you, Mr. Walls, is I'm going to take down your question. Mr. Anthony Godwin is actually the king of Flex MLS. For those of you guys that don't know, he actually helped its creation here on Guam. So you can say that he's the mama and the papa for Flex MLS here on Guam here. But I'll ask him if there is one, and I'll send you a message. Here, hold on, resolution. If I don't write it down, I definitely will forget it. And yes, Peter, the best format is a JPEG. Even PNG, same thing. So yeah, you can either one will be fine. So I'm gonna quickly look at see if I have any questions straight from WhatsApp. Just give me a second here. Okay, so all right. Does anybody have any questions at all on anything? I know that we went through the the GRPR section. One thing, you know, actually, and I hope you guys don't mind here, but actually one thing I would like to show you guys on the app or the website, the GAR website. Let me get on there real quick. Find me one quick second. So on the GRPR website, or not GRPR, but Guam Realtors. So I have my tab saved as GAR website, right? So when you get on here, when you get on the dashboard here, again, where you find the GRPR site is right here under Access Guam Realtor Property Research. If you don't know how to use it, or if you need some help, they actually have a really cool tutorial video on there, as well as a PDF version of a training guide and also login instructions. Then on top of that, the girls at the office are always happy to help answer any questions on how to get in. I'd be more than happy to help you guys get in there too. I've done it already. It doesn't take too much work. I think the hardest part about getting getting into our system here is the math questions. I mean, I think the hardest one that I saw was 14 plus 6. Took me a few seconds to figure out. So one thing I want to point out on this, on our website here, and I know this has nothing to do with maps, but I thought I have it on my notes to make sure to bring it up, and we did go through the COVID-19 related forms. For those of you guys that are looking for it, they're all right here. And that has everything that you need. Also under there, there's useful documents. So those of you that are looking at schedules of dues and fees, for instance, or any forms for any forms that you might be looking at. One thing that we're going to have on here pretty soon, hopefully, is our MLS rules and different things like that. So it'll be a lot easier for us to find. This thing also shows you who the board of directors is. It shows you the different committees. In this case here, I'm going to click on Education Committee because they put everything together. Everybody that you see on here, and oh my gosh, it even gives their phone numbers. So everybody that you see on here, if you like free CE credits and you want to thank them, definitely send them a text, every single one of these guys, and just say thank you. So again, that's what yeah, that's how you can access everything here. I can't really think of anything else to go through. I don't see any. Hold on a second. I think there is one more. Is there a GRPR app in the making? Oh, okay. I know that they had answered this on the they answered this during the class. There is an app that's in the making, but we're actually trying to make it into a much bigger and better app is what it is. What we're hoping for is not just the GRPR app. We're hoping to actually put together a GAR app in which you'll be able to access the GRPR website, maybe even your, without giving too much away, maybe even your realtor affinity, the realtor affinity partners and what they offer. So when you're on the road, if you want to find out, if X coffee shop gives a discount, whether it be Slingstone or Coffee Slut or whatever, you get to see if either of them gives a discount when you're driving by, and you can kind of just show them your phone. So there, in a short answer, there is going to be one that's just going to take a little bit longer. We were hoping to roll one out a few months ago, just strictly a GRPR app. But when we sat down, when members of the board sat down and talked about it, what we thought of was that there would be way too many apps, because we already have a Flex MLS app, a Zip app, we have, then we're going to have a GRPR app. It'll be way too many apps for us to have on there. If we just have one GAR app, it'll make it a lot easier to access. All right. Does anybody else have any questions at all? I have one. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, did it make a sound? Okay, I don't see any answer, so that's okay. Okay, so now what Peggy wanted me to do for everybody was to make to come up with a quick game with questions for 2 winners. I think what I'm going to do, if you guys are, and give you guys a few seconds to get your fingers ready. I'm going to ask you guys 2 questions. Peggy, I'm sorry, really quickly, how many prizes did you say?
We have 2.
Okay, you have 2 prizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it very simple. But you wanted to do a raffle, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'll do then, just to make it easy, is maybe the first, or not the first, but we'll give everybody like a 1-minute time limit to answer some questions. I'll just ask it verbally. I'll just ask 2 questions, and everybody that gets it correct will have a chance at the raffle. Is that cool with you, Peggy?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Um, 2 questions. Let's go see. Uh, sorry, just buy me a minute here. I was trying to stall there because I thought I'd be able to come up with them rather quickly, and I'm not. Okay, first one. In what I covered here, what are the 3 different variations of being able to find a listing? That's the first question. Second question is, who is GAR's current vice president slash secretary? So again, 2 questions are what are the 3 different ways of being able to find a listing, and the second one is who's GAR's current vice president slash secretary? Oh, Mr. Artero, you just type it in just the same way you typed in how to submit. Just type it in on here, and then what we're gonna do is we'll have Peggy and the girls, the super girls, put in or tally everything up. I'm gonna give. Let me set a timer on my phone. Actually, I'll buy you guys a little bit more time.
Yeah, I have Nikki Weaver answering your first question.
Yep. And then Nikki, the second question, right, was who is our current vice president slash secretary? I've showed you guys how to find that answer. So hopefully you guys are near a computer. If you're not, you can find it on your phone. And not to give too much away, but you can definitely, probably, most likely find it on our GAR website. 226. Gene Mann also got it. Francis Guerrero got it. Don't forget the vice president, guys. So a lot of you guys answered the first question, but the second question is who is our.
Is first name good with you?
Yeah, first name's perfect.
All right, so we have a winner. We have Nikki Weaver and Neri Blas.
All right, guys. If it's a lunch for 2, we can do social distancing. Just tell me what time you guys are thinking of going. Yeah, I don't ask for too much. I'll be really quiet. I'll just sit there. Now, what are the prizes, by the way, Peggy? Do you know?
We have Mescla gift certificates.
Nice. Okay. Gotcha.
Thank you, folks. Congratulations to Nikki Weaver and Neri Blas. We will be in touch with you. Okay.
Yeah, but not in a bad way, guys. Not like you guys didn't pay your dues or something like that, and they're gonna come after you. It's more. So if GAR office calls you, definitely answer the phone.